We just watched The Fall Guy, directed by David Leitch, and we'll have a lot more to say about that in just a second.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
OD boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my seat, boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another I'd Popcorn for that review. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And we are here to talk about The Fall Guy. Before we get into that, though, if you haven't subscribed already, we'd love to have you. And also, hitting like on this video is the best way to kind of support this channel and get more people looking at it. But yeah, so what is The Fall Guy about?
Fresh off an almost career-ending accident, stuntman Colt Seavers has to track down a missing movie star, solve a conspiracy, and try to win back the love of his life while still doing his day job.
Yeah, so definitely this was kind of presented as like a love letter to the kind of the unsung heroes of Hollywood, which is the stunt crew. And I think it did a good job of that. The director here was a former stuntman, and I think you can see a lot of love throughout this whole movie, for the stuntman industry and everything. But also, this is just a blast of a movie, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, and I'm interested to see how you feel about it. But for me, man, this thing is like charming and just a lot of fun, and it's kind of just everything I wanted out of a movie. It's like big and bombastic and frenetic pacing, and it's a little goofy, I guess, but none of it bothered me. Like, it's funny, it's just really charming, and I had a smile on my face the whole time. So were you in the same camp as me, or
Yeah,
what do you think about it?
I agree with you. I had a good time with it. It was pretty fun. I liked Ryan Gosling quite a bit in this one. He was good. And Emily Blunt was good as well. They were good, had good chemistry. And even, I can't remember his name, but the guy from, like, Black Panther and Us.
Winston Duke.
Yeah, he was really good in it, too. And Aaron Taylor Johnson, man.
I have things to say about him.
I do too.
I do have things to say about him, but for the most part, I thought everybody did their role really well. I wasn't sure how I would feel about the chemistry between Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. I think it worked actually in the movie. I think they were a believable enough couple. I will say that the thing that kicks off this movie is this accident, a stunt accident, which, there's more to it than that, but it kicks off with this accident, and then Ryan Gosling breaks his back, and there's 18 months go by where he's not a stuntman anymore, and he loses his connection with Emily Blunt's character, Jodie. And I was a little bit, it didn't really detract from the movie at all, but I'm just a little bit like, you're kind of breaking the guy's balls a lot over this. Like, it's kind of a little harsh.
It also seemed like a little forced. It's like, why did he... They never really explain why he kind of cut contact with her, did they? I mean, like, he could have just...
I think the explanation, you do get an explanation from him later on in his own words, where he's basically saying, like, I couldn't think of the right thing to say to you, and I thought you had to always give that thumbs up stunt guy attitude, and when my attitude was thumbs down, then I didn't think that was what you wanted out of me, and I waited too long and whatever. So there's a little bit of explanation. It just felt like a really spicy, it's like, golly, I mean, the guy broke his back, and he's been held up. I don't know, it just felt a little bit like overly ball breaky, but maybe that was just me. It just and it doesn't last that long, like you can tell their relationship's going to rekindle, and it's not, this is not an unpredictable movie. Like you can kind of figure out where things are going to go, but I didn't mind at all.
I didn't either, and I'm glad, like, from the trailer, I was like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen in this movie. Because the trailer, they definitely lead you in a direction, and it's not the direction I thought it was going to go in, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, I guess I just, the big beats of the story,
right,
you can kind of figure out what's going to happen, but sometimes a movie... I don't know. Sometimes a movie doesn't have to be, this isn't like a mind-melting, changes your perspective on the world kind of movie. It's a really, really fun popcorn movie that never slows down, and right out of the gate, like that first scene where he takes a sip of some drink that has some kind of psychedelic, really highly active psychedelic substance in it. And I was just on board right out of the gate, because that scene where it's like amplified by his hallucinations while he's kicking people's asses.
Right.
It was just great. Like it just looks so good, and even the goofy unicorn stuff, I was like, I'm here for it. I just bought the whole farm. You know,
And-
as soon as I walked in the theater, I'm just like, yeah.
And that's one of the scenes that they show in the trailer, and I've seen it multiple times. When they show it in the movie, it's different because of that. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
And like even when it wasn't like a laugh a second, I appreciated the sense of humor of this movie enough that it never bothered me. Like I don't think there was one joke where I was like really cringing. Like it was just
Right.
like I either didn't get a huge big laugh, but by the end of the movie I had plenty of like laugh out loud moments. And there's a thing at the very end that I won't give away right now if you don't know yet. But like the very end of it was a pretty funny surprise to me because I didn't know that was going to happen. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it later. I'm
We'll have to talk
thinking
about
about
it.
a couple different things. I
Yeah.
really did enjoy like the score to the fighting and like chase scenes and everything, because there's also that like the familiar tune in there, and then they finally play it at the end of the movie. I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
was what you were talking about, but I was just like waiting for it to happen, and when it finally did, I was like, oh hell yeah.
There's some really good needle drops in this too. I love I Believe in a Thing Called Love from the
Yeah.
Darkness. Just a classic song right there. But I can't think of all of them right now. But a lot of good needle drops to this. The score is good. There were maybe a couple of scenes, like action scenes, that went longer than they could have. Except I don't really think so, because that's the kind of movie this is. Like it's celebrating stunt scenes and action scenes. So it's like, no, if you're gonna do it in a movie, this is the one.
Right.
To just make them as long as they can possibly be. Why not? You know, why not have as much fun with it as you can? And all the stuff where like there's a lot of like use of prop weapons in place of real weapons, and I thought there was some funny sight gags with that. And yeah, like you said, I don't think I've seen Winston Duke in a whole lot besides Black Panther. I'm kind of trying to think of anything else I've seen him in. Maybe there are some other things, but
He wasn't Us. What
He was-
or am I mistaking him?
he was in Us. Okay,
Okay.
I'm forgetting about that one. I didn't like Us, so I'm kind of
Oh
blocked
right,
it out.
yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciated him in this. He was a good role here, and so there's two people to talk about though that I got to get into a little bit, which is the Hannah Waddingham who plays Gail Meyer.
Okay.
She is like insufferable through this, which is the role that she's playing. But man, I just wanted to yank that Diet Coke straw out of her mouth so hard the whole time. Like she is just driving me nuts in this. But I think she played the role well, you know.
Yeah.
But Aaron Taylor Johnson, I don't think I like that guy.
I do. I like him as an actor, but so the thing I really wanted to say, so the movie that they're making is like this ridiculous Dune type movie, which that was funny by
Or
the way.
Furiosa almost.
Or
it looked like
Furiosa,
to me.
yeah, like star-crossed lovers, an alien and a space cowboy, but not from like Cowboy Bebop, like an actual space cowboy.
Right.
But he has this like thick country accent. It's totally him just doing an impression of Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey for sure.
was-
And he even makes did you catch the reference?
Yeah. What was it again?
Because he makes like he's like I was shooting aliens before they paid me to shoot aliens.
Yeah, I was drinking
From the
before they.
Buick commercial or whatever,
yeah,
Lincoln
that's right,
commercial. Yeah. But yeah, there was a moment where I was like, oh, he's definitely intentionally doing a Matthew McConaughey thing, and then they finally like made the joke where it's like, oh yeah, okay, he for sure is doing a Matthew McConaughey thing.
I like to measure what I drink based on 1, how's it taste? 2, the buzz, right? 3, how was the conversation that you had that night? 4, how'd you sleep? 5, how'd you dream? 6, how'd you feel when you woke up in the morning?
He's funny in this because he's so stupid, and like he's not a likable character in this, so I think it does work. But I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about the guy as an actor on the whole. And if the rumors end up being true and he's the next James Bond, I am concerned about that.
Well,
But
maybe you need to watch some more stuff by him, because I mean, Savages that he's in was really good. Bullet Train, he was pretty good in Bullet Train.
and I did like Kick-Ass back in the day, so
Kick-Ass, yeah.
I'd give that a rewatch and probably like that. I didn't see the second one, but yeah. So maybe I'm writing him off too soon. There's something about him that's a little off to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think playing a character that you don't like you're meant to hate this guy, so it's like, well,
He did a
easy
good
to
job
hate,
in that
but-
point, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, just a real satisfying movie, and I think the pacing made it where it really did not feel like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
For me, this really felt like an hour and a half.
All right, John Claude was a nice cameo. It was a good part in the the movie.
Wait, where is he at?
It's just the dog.
Oh, yeah, the dog. Yeah, the French dog.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that French dog really has one favorite trick, and he does that a lot in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to complain about. I mean, what more do you want out of a fun popcorn action movie like this? And I think it did. I hope that what happens though is I hope that there actually is some real change. I know, like, who cares about the Oscars,
Right?
but I do
Well, they
kind of
kinda-
hope that there's some real change and they make a stuntman category, or a stunt category.
Yeah, because they even like kind of say that in the things like, you won an Oscar for that, right? And he's like, no.
Yeah. So, and this actually, the other thing I was going to say is this does make me kind of want to go back and revisit or visit for the first time some other David Leitch movies, because he did like Atomic Blonde, and he did, I don't know what my deal is with Bullet Train. I don't know if I've ever even watched that all the way through. So I want to revisit Bullet Train and Atomic Blonde at least. And I think there's some others too. What's your score?
I think I'm gonna go. Man, I think I'm gonna stick at like just a solid 8. I think it was a good, fun movie to watch. I think anybody who's a fan of action is gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I'll give this an 8.5. I think it's not perfect, it's not flawless, but man, you could do a whole lot worse if you want to just put on something fun that's gonna keep your attention the whole time and get you looking up off of your phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, 8.5 for me. So another good movie.
Yeah.
2 in a row.
It's nice. It's nice to see it happen.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, like I said, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, let's see it.
I'm a